Okay.
That means that we punched our ticket to go try to win the Super Bowl, and that's it. We got one game at a time, starting at 1 o'clock on Sunday. Love y'all, boys. Love you. I'll go to war with every single one of you, every game, all right? Here we go. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Win.
Yeah. Please tell me that I can't, that I won't, that I fail, that I'll never make it out, yeah. Please tell me all the bad, never good, fill my head full of every single doubt, yeah. Please say any negative thoughts, I pop off when I hear people say I cannot. I get off to the thought of proving everyone wrong, I won't stop to the top, so you better back off and get lost. I'ma stay loud, stay proud, never running out, never heading south. I'll be spreading out, call it word of mouth, can't put me down, I'll be getting loud. You can have your doubts, not what I'm about, have your fucking cloud. It be raining now, I keep making sound, go another round, bitch I'm legend bound, can't stop me now. You don't wanna fuck with me, a slow burn like a disease. Just tell me that I can and I'll show you things that you couldn't believe. Just tell me that I can. Just tell me that I can. Just tell me that I can. Just tell me that I can.
It's showtime.
Welcome to the Mafia Sports Report. I am Tommy, to the highest degree, to the TOP, from the 313. What is up, Bills Mafia? I'm sorry for the delay. I was uploading another video, and for some reason it was taking forever. And you're like, hey, we don't want to hear your damn excuses, Tommy.
Oh, excuse me.
What is going on, man? Let's get to some of your guys' comments real quick before we get this thing going. Ronnie in the house. What up, Ronnie? Ronnie's been showing up early, man. Appreciate you, Ronnie. It's always awesome, man. Always awesome kicking it with Bills Mafia. What up, Bob, man? How you doing, man? Sorry for the delay, but I am here. Cold Front should go live stream with you. Yeah, man. I think I think Dustin is a little not upset with me, but I think he's just like, hey, I need a break from Tommy. I was on there for 2.5 hours on Friday night. I told him I was only going to be for like an hour. I think I had him way past his bedtime. So I think Dustin wants a little vacay from Mafia Sports Report, man. You know how I do it. Sometimes I'd be going on for like 3 hours, man. So once I get blabbing on, sometimes the show drags on. Bills, that's right. What up, man? G-Pick, man. Tommy, what the hell is up? Not much, man. I am psyched. I am hyped for this upcoming draft. Next week, we will be going live all 3 days. Mikey will be here for sure Thursday and Friday. But I'll be covering all 3 days. So I'll be here Saturday in the afternoon for day 3. Mikey for sure, day 1 and day 2, Thursday and Friday night. So really looking forward to that. Very curious on what the Bills are going to do with their first pick. Are they going to trade up? Are they going to trade down? Are they going to trade for a player? Man, we shall see. Obviously, Dexter Lawrence is off the table now. He got traded to the Bengals for their first round pick, a 10th pick. And that's a great trade, honestly, for the Giants. The Giants received the 10th pick. Dexter Lawrence did not want to be there anymore, right? The Bills, even if we called, which I'm sure we did, we couldn't match that. You can't match a 10th pick with the 26th. Even if you give them the next first-round pick in 2027, I still would decline it if I was the Giants. So, for them, you know what? New York got a great pick there, a great selection. They're in the top 10 now, and they move on from a player that didn't want to be there. So, and they don't have to pay him anymore. So, there's that on top of that. So, yeah, man, I think honestly, the Bengals got better with Lawrence, but I think the Giants won that trade, in my opinion. But would I have been happy with Dexter Lawrence? Sure. Would I have given up a first round 26th pick? Sure, because you're at the tail of the end of the round, right? Tail end of the round. So for me, yeah, that's worth it. But a top 10, and Dexter Lawrence didn't have the greatest season last year. and you're going to have to pay him on top of that. So, we'll see how he does in Cincinnati. We shall see. Happy Sunday, Tommy, to the top. That's right. That's right. How you doing, Sandra? Kincaid in the house. What up, Tommy? Chilling, man. Getting ready for this draft, man. Draft week, baby. That's right. Top 10. Don't mind if we do. Right. Go Bills. Giants fleece them. Yeah, I think so, man. That's crazy. Yeah, I think they got just the one, right? I think they got I think that's all that trade was, right? They got the top 10 pick, right? I don't think they received anything else, unless I'm mistaken. Let me see here. I think that's all they received. Let's see here. Dexter Lawrence. Let's see here. All right, let's see what maybe I'm wrong. Let's see here. I know there's a lot of funny people roasting Dexter Lawrence on social media. Let's see here. So yeah, just the 10th overall pick is all I'm seeing. So still no, that's a top 10 pick, man. That's wild. I was saying Giants now have 2 top 10. Yeah, exactly. So damn good for the Giants, right? Yeah, anytime you can get 2 top 10 picks, you're heading in the right direction. As long as you nail those top 10 picks, right? You don't want to whiff on them either. So, but anyways, today's about the Down and Drought series, guys. Episode number 6. I know some of you guys, are all for this, and some of you guys are, all right, see you later, Tommy. We don't want to hear about the past. But I love it, man. I love the history of this team. Obviously, it wasn't the best years, but a lot of my favorite players come from the Drought years. And a lot of this stuff I kind of either forgot or I didn't know about. And this is why I'm doing the series. Plus, it's the off season. I don't have a lot to talk about. And I'm going to be doing this. Like I said, this was a 17 week thing every Sunday at 1:00. So let's get this thing going. If you guys can't hear me for any reason, let me know and I'll turn down the volume on the video. Okay. All right, let's get this thing going, man.
Episode 6, 2005. The struggle of today is not altogether for today. It is for a vast future also.
I should have worn my Losman jersey, huh?
Now, on Inside the
I wonder if I have to turn this thing up.
Wait.
Maybe I got to turn it up a little bit, huh?
How about this? All right.
All right, let me know, guys. Hey, G-Pick, you watch it.
Episode of Down and
You
Drought,
watch
the
it.
weekly walk
I like
down
Losman,
memory lane
man.
with
Losman, he had the
17
tools,
years
man.
of
He's just
Buffalo
going to put it
Bills
together.
missed the postseason. I'm
I
Prescott
got a
Rossi.
Losman jersey.
Alongside me, Thad Brown. We have a new guest.
Oh, yeah, I should have worn it.
The 88th seat. It is Mark Gruba, who was a sports anchor at the time at another station in town. So we have
Brantley, real Bills fan, loves hearing about the Bills' history. There you go.
Right off the
That's
top,
what I'm
the
talking
Bills
about, Brantley.
A 9-7 season in 2004. Everybody knows about the Week 17 game against Pittsburgh, but your initial memories to going into that offseason after the 04 season?
Well, I think there was a lot of excitement coming off that 04 season. Again, you take that last game of the season away against Pittsburgh, and this was a team that was right on the cusp of the playoffs. It had only been a few years that they had been out of the playoffs.
Only 5.
Right. And I think people thought, okay, we have the pieces in place. I think the big issue there was the quarterback play. You could tell during that 04 season that Bledsoe.
Yeah, Drew was done. Drew was done.
More statuesque in the pocket. He was taking some bad sacks. And I think the question was, do they have enough pieces around him to make that playoff push?
And then just into the start of that offseason on February 16th, the Bills announced that they're going to cut Drew Bledsoe when cuts become available on February 22nd. And so the thought that, okay, Bledsoe's gone.
Can you guys hear everything good? Let me know in the comment section if you need me to turn up this or turn it down.
All right,
let me know.
Turning the keys over to him.
Look, I think the thing that made that decision controversial was that no one really bought into JP Losman. We talked about that last week in the 2004 version of this.
Unreal.
That
not buying into JP Losman. How dare you?
Idea. And now him taking the keys to the car and taking over for Drew Bledsoe, yeah, there were obvious flaws.
What
with
up,
Bledsoe,
Scott?
Not just the declining play, but the escalating salary.
How can
the
they
Bills,
do?
in the early part of those
How can you
2000s were
guys,
always up against the salary cap?
So
there
not
were good
believe
reasons
in my
to get
man
Bledsoe.
JP
The thing
Losman?
with the option from where the Bills are going to go,
Unbelievable.
is not get anybody excited about the upcoming season.
Yeah, I mean, for me, the thing about Losman is sort of the classic John Madden line that he used about Rob Johnson. He had the hardware.
Hey, don't put
but
them
not
in the
software.
same same
you
category.
look at
Come
that
on
guy,
now.
I mean, he could throw the ball a country mile. He was a
That's right.
tremendous athlete. But you just
There he
felt
is.
like
There's
you weren't
JP.
putting
Get
it
him,
all
JP.
together upstairs. And you're turning over the offense, a
Thank you, Scott.
offense to this guy that had a lot of moving parts and pieces to it. And you just wondered whether or not he was going to be capable of doing it.
I got that
In
jersey.
3 seasons with the Buffalo Bills, Drew
That's
Bledsoe
what
was
I have.
23 and 25, 10,000 yards, 55 touchdowns. But you mentioned the statuesque aspect. Drew Bledsoe was sacked 140 times in 3 seasons. No quarterback is going to be able to maintain that kind of punishment. Also, at the start of free agency, the Bills addressed the backup quarterback role with Kelly Holcomb, who had been in a
Remember
shootout with
Kelly
the Browns,
Holcomb?
In the playoffs against the
My
Steelers.
God.
Your thoughts, fellas, on Kelly Holcomb being the guy to kind of be the mentor, the tutor
For a backup, not bad.
JP Losman.
Starting quarterback,
was Shane Matthews.
no.
That was the initial. That was the guy that the Bills were going to get, or that people thought they were going to get. He was just a guy. I don't think he really swayed it either way. He had his moment with the Browns, and it might have been really just a moment. But as good as anybody else you're going to find at that point.
Yeah, I mean, I think the idea with Holcomb was a game manager and somebody that could mentor a young JP Losman. I think that was the basic idea there.
March 14th. This is something I noticed that I picked up in my research. I don't know that it really got a whole lot of play, and this is kind of switching gears for a moment.
I'm guessing
Two
everybody
County
can hear just
legislators
fine.
asked the Bills to forego
Y'all
a
didn't say anything in the
$3.56
comment
million
section.
payment to maintain the
I'm
stadium.
guessing
Why
we're
this is
good.
big is if the county is unable to make this payment, they would violate the
I
terms
don't.
of the
I don't
lease,
think
which would
young
then
Bills
result
fans
in
can
the Bills
appreciate
having
the Marv
ability
Levy
to leave town.
teams.
Now,
Our depth
Ralph
was
Wilson
crazy
is
good.
into his mid-80s.
Absolutely,
He
Scott.
still lives
Absolutely.
for another 9 years.
I mean, you could see right. I mean,
was there that?
forget about the
cloud
Marv
hanging
Levy
over this
teams. I mean,
franchise
I mean, don't
at
forget
this
about them. But
time that
how about the team we
relocation
have
to Wheeling,
now?
Western New York was now really
I mean,
on the table with this team.
I don't think the cloud. I think the
Just
cloud was there
saying.
for a good 2 decades. I think it goes back into the 90s. That's why in '98.
Let's give some credit due to this current
trotted out
team,
Doug Flutie
right?
And really aggressively went out and reached out to local.
And this is
stations
why I'm
about,
going back to
marketing
these drought
and
years
publishing
too, just to
that
kind
was
of
gonna
show
be
you
new
guys
revenue
like
stream. And it wasn't long after
where
this that
we
the
are
cloud started
now.
happening. It was always there.
And the people that are still hating on this team,
was at that point,
or just don't think it's a good enough team. I just do we forget about the drought years and the coaches and the GMs that came through here and
I think for me,
all
as I
the
look
mess
back
that
at
we
my
had
time,
and
I
no
think
quarterback?
it's
Like
when we began to realize that Ralph Wilson was,
we're in a good
for lack
situation.
of a better term, that when he was in public and speaking about the team, that he just didn't
Bill's
have the
best player in
community that he once
2005
did. And
was
that made
either
me
Eric
start
Morris or
thinking,
Willis
boy,
McGahee.
If he's not all there, what does that mean
05
about
probably
the future?
McGahee had probably
days
our
after
best
that
player
letter
that year, but
was
Eric
written,
Moles was the
Bills
best
accepted
player in the
the
drought
offer,
years,
which
100%.
which would defer
Keo
that
Spikes
payment,
as well
which would
was
maintain
Dan
the
Beast.
lease. So
Yep.
the Bills are
London
staying in
Fletcher.
Western New
We
York for
had
the
guys,
time being.
G-Pick. We had more than
I
that.
think for me,
Even Lee
how
Evans
I look
wasn't
at
bad.
Ralph Wilson, and I came here at the end of 2011, so I didn't have the interactions with Ralph that you guys did.
Man, the
you
drought
know,
years
all
was
throughout this
stressful.
time period. But
Yeah, it
I
was.
think of why the Bills.
Remember Cortland
Bentley?
Bentley? He wrote kids animation books on the side. I don't.
I think
I
the
don't.
way he handled John Butler.
I'll have to look up that
and
name,
Phillips,
Scott.
And then the hires he made after that kind of set the table.
I thought Wade
the Bills
Phillips was a
not
good
being
coach, guys.
Particularly good at football.
I really do.
Yet,
I
at
think
the
that was a
same
mistake
time,
firing him.
he
I've
would
got to
do
be
things
honest
like
with you
this,
guys.
like deferring payments from the county and maintaining and buying empty seats to prevent blackouts. What were your thoughts on Ralph Wilson at this time? And you mentioned
Ralph Wilson
he's
getting a
into
little
his
older
80s,
here.
that he's slipping, and obviously, he's an old man, and to know that the end will be coming probably sooner rather than later.
I mean, for me, I think what you have to remember about Ralph is this is a man that was
Lawyer Malloy.
enormously successful
Only
in
for
his life.
a year he was
And
good
used
here,
his
maybe
own
2.
intelligence to create a lot of that wealth. And I think he relied upon his abilities to keep things, the way he wanted them, set up the way he wanted. So he just, I always felt like he just didn't have that person that he could turn to and say,
Oh,
"Here's what
yeah.
I'm thinking.
Tallies.
What do you
Yeah, but those were in the
think?" That he-
90s,
that
bro.
He really just kind of kept
Darryl
it to himself
Talley
tried
and
to make
Cornelius
those
Bennett.
decisions.
And
I
those
think
90s
as
teams
he
were
got
sick.
older, I think it became more
But we
difficult
had
for him to
talent
really
in the
manage
drought
all the
years.
aspects
I'm
of
telling
the
you guys.
I think
That's
part
why I
of
like going
the
through this.
polling
You
of
guys
John
could see
Butler,
the
it
draft
really
picks
left
we
a lot
had.
of fear in the
You could
organization. At
see
that point, Russ Brandon
the players we
became
had.
probably the
Really, it was
person who
quarterback
got
that we
Russ
struggled
Brandon's
for all
son.
these years
It's
that we
not
didn't
quite
really,
the same relationship,
we
but
couldn't
you
figure it
needed
out.
to have
And
a
head
sounding
coach,
board
let's
there,
be
like
real.
you say.
Those two things
And
is
I think the
what
other part of it too is
set us back all these years.
We don't
and
want
the,
to
a 17-year drought.
There were small things.
No bad head coaches, not a good quarterback.
Assuage the negative publicity, whereas actually going out and spending money on a head coach or a scouting department.
See,
the things that
I'm telling you, the guys
kind of cheaped out on during this period were different sort of commitments.
Can't find a good head coach, you're fucked. You're not going to find a good quarterback.
Let's
chances are
slim
slim
right now, as opposed to addressing the
same with the GM. I mean, you're not going to
put real money into this team, this front office.
Just not going to happen.
Compete with the Dallases and the New Yorks that were going this way with their revenue that Buffalo couldn't compete with.
New England too.
Exactly.
At this point, they're coming off back-to-back Super Bowls.
Right.
We talked about scouting departments in the front office. Well, the NFL draft, April 22nd and 23rd.
All right, here we go.
Don't have a first-round pick because it's now a part of the Dallas Cowboys because of the J.P. Losman trade from a year ago. So that pick is number 20.
No first round.
And I was kind of kicking around.
Gave it away for JP. That's all right.
Losman plays no impact in the Bills' results in 2004. So you think that you just almost forget that the Bills even made that trade. So you think that the Bills would probably, without Losman, have resulted in a 9-7 record and the 20th overall pick. If they were to look at the quarterback position at that time with the 20th overall pick, well, guess who's available in the NFL draft at that time? Aaron Rodgers. Of course, there are a million things that.
I mean, you never know, though, guys.
And all that, but the thought that, man, if they don't make the Losman trade, Aaron Rodgers is possibly there for them.
Possibly doesn't mean that we would get him, guys. Let's be real.
Like the worst decisions made during the playoff drought, it has to be in the top 5, right?
Oh yeah.
I mean,
those are all good players.
In hindsight, it looks
except for Trent
awful.
Green. I wasn't a Trent Green fan.
Come
on, they're just picking on Losman here.
Mike Williams in some order.
Yeah.
Those are probably the 4.
Yeah.
I mean, there's no doubt. And I think, I didn't really, it's not really talked about, that the Bills would have had a shot at Aaron Rodgers because the pick is made.
Woulda, coulda, shoulda. Doesn't mean we would have.
You don't think about
he would have been there for us.
Perhaps why Aaron
Just saying, guys.
Exactly. You talk about
the what ifs.
if he goes to Buffalo,
I don't always go with those.
Playing in Green Bay system, blah 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 blah. Regardless, yeah, I think there's a pretty good chance Aaron Rodgers.
And if he did come here, we probably would have ruined his career anyways.
Look at it, not having that first round pick that
somehow, some way.
The start of what turned out to be a disastrous draft for this franchise.
Yeah, and a disastrous
And
year,
I know you've got the numbers in front of you, or the rounds and the players and all that, but they essentially got nothing.
2005.
They really didn't.
And
who did we draft? Let's see if they tell us. I don't really recall, guys. Do you?
They still had all the media up there during round 1. And I think it was still Saturday. Saturday, Sunday. So, when they do have a first round pick, after the pick is made, the GM and head coach talk about the pick. There's questions and actually blah, blah, blah. Well, they didn't have a pick. So
I remember that when Trent Green got knocked
they
out.
bring J.P. Losman out and have a press conference like they had just drafted him. Like, oh, look, here's our first round. They really referred to him as this is our first round pick for this year. And because, again,
oh, wow, I didn't know that. That's funny.
No one bought into him as an answer, even though he was going to be the starter. No one really believed in him as a quarterback. To bring him out and trumpet him, even J.P., that they had a look in his face like, I don't really like this idea. I don't know why I'm out here.
Yeah.
And it was treated and looked at like an utter joke from the moment the Bills thought of it.
We work in television. You sometimes have a live shot or an interview where you kind of go like, oh, this isn't going well. I can just imagine just being in that meeting room like, oh, cut, please, let's get out of here.
Right.
Well, and Thad, you mentioned the scouting department. The Bills' first pick of that 05 draft.
Let's see.
8 hours after the draft begins. I can only imagine sitting in that meeting room for 8 hours waiting around.
Hey, we may have to go through this draft.
55, the Bills
we trade down.
Roscoe Parrish, wide receiver.
Hey, Roscoe! Ain't nothing wrong with Roscoe.
Makes no sense to me.
Yep.
If
come on, man.
Maybe he's the replacement for Moulds, but so many other factors.
No, they're way different players.
First off, you have Lee Evans, who you drafted in the first round the year before. If
Roscoe was
Parrish
decent.
is supposed to be a factor in special teams.
Really
Parrish
good kick
went to the Pro
returner.
Bowl. Like, you don't need to upgrade these positions. Yeah. Why was I can't defend the Roscoe Parrish pick.
And I wonder, this was the start of the Bills.
Boy, oh boy. I would like to go back on that draft to see who else we could have got at that position, on that round.
You look at
who do we pass up on?
Fits or not on the team
for Roscoe, or who did we miss?
Yeah,
you know what I mean.
I would agree. If you're talking about putting him into that spot where Moulds was,
hating on Roscoe. Jeez, hating on Losman, hating on Roscoe.
Apples and oranges there.
Come on.
Know what they saw. Roscoe was an incredible athlete. He really
From
was.
the U, man.
His size, to excel at that level is amazing. And you can see where you go to the combine, and he probably put mind-blowing numbers up.
3.940 or something.
Yeah, right. And you start, and again, I think about Malarkey, and you love those gadgets on that offense. And you could see him thinking about how he might be able to work this guy in and find places.
Like a Mike Malarkey.
Just kind of have pop out of nowhere. Next thing you know, he's gone. And he did some of those things with the Bills. But in terms of addressing a need at that moment in time, yeah, it was just one of those head-scratching picks. And to your point, a pick that didn't help them right in the moment.
Yeah.
Just like, a year or so earlier when they took McGahee, knowing he was a year away, and Donahoe always seemed to try to make that splash on draft day. And maybe this was his way of trying to do something splashy without having that first-round pick.
June 4th,
I got to go back and see that
long
draft
after
to see.
The Bills unveil new uniforms. The third
Yeah, look at the throwback helmets.
1960s.
Yeah. What do you guys think about that? Those jerseys.
Throwback unis.
People
The
love
throwbacks.
People were so excited for those.
Let me know. Put it in the comment section.
Throwback fan for almost
They're pretty good.
18
I like
in
them.
general, but you could see the navy blue had been a divergence from tradition. This was not only a return to tradition, but it was a return to harken back to the glory days. People couldn't get enough.
No, I would agree. And that helmet.
They're pretty good. They're pretty sweet. Clean.
With the standing buffalo and just that idea that, it conjured up memories of a better time. And this was not a good time. And to me, this was part of one of the hallmarks of this period for the Bills is because they were in such a bad way, this drought that we're talking about, every year, every offseason, they seem to try to come up with something that would galvanize the fan base. You remember they had that massive press conference, and party for Drew Bledsoe's arrival. And, here you've got, it was uniforms.
I do remember
people
that.
to rally around these throwback uniforms and, conjuring up those nostalgic memories of yesteryear. I will say this. I agree. I thought, having said that, they were cool and people bought them.
I like them.
And they still wear that.
The Bills were good at it. I mean, they were.
What y'all think, man? Put in the comment. Put in the chat.
Nobody
What y'all think?
Like the Buffalo Bills. July 18th, right before the start of training camp, and this was an underlying
Travis.
story throughout the offseason in 2005. The Bills trade Travis Henry to the Tennessee Titans, and obviously played well in 03, in 2002 and 2003. 04 missed a bunch of time due to injury.
Travis was a beast, man. One of my favorite running backs in Buffalo.
Gets overshadowed because McGahee is taken right as Travis Henry seems to be hitting his stride.
Henry was a good player, not great, but good to very good.
Damn good.
I think this was a situation where Tom Donahoe had invested a first-round pick in Willis McGahee, controversially, as Mark pointed out, making a splash for that first round. If you're going to pick one of the two, and you really had to at that point, there just was no reason.
They were going with the younger guy.
He's going to keep McGahee and try and trade
on a
Travis
rookie
Henry.
deal.
And we went round and round all offseason trying to figure it out. Eventually, it did get done to the benefit of the Bills. Henry ended up in Tennessee, which I don't know if was a great spot for him, but at the end of the day, he needed to be out of Buffalo.
And then he went to Denver after.
McGahee was too the better.
He actually had another 1,000-yard season.
They picked the right guy to
I think
keep.
he had one with
The injuries
Tennessee
were
and with
blah, blah, blah.
Denver,
But
I
McGahee
believe,
had
or
shown
one of
he
those
was gonna
teams.
be more likely to be a
And then he got
starter.
caught up in
I would
some
agree with
legal
that, and
trouble.
that was the point I was going to make. I think at that point they had enough on McGahee to know that he was going to play at a high level in the NFL. Was he ever going to be that superstar back he was at Miami? I think the jury was out there. But
McGahee had a pretty good career for a guy with that
Henry goes to Tennessee for a
terrible
third-round
injury.
pick. The teams he was rumored with in the offseason, and there are a bunch: Jags, Eagles, Cardinals, Dolphins, Seahawks. All at different points were thinking like, oh, they're going to trade for Travis Henry. The stuff that I found in my research was that Tom Donahoe was asking for too much, and the teams weren't willing to pull the trigger on a guy like Travis Henry, who goes to Tennessee to not even start. He's backing up Chris Brown there.
Wow.
A lot has been made about Travis Henry's off-the-field activities and some of the things he's done in his life. But, fellas, your interactions with Travis Henry, what was he like?
Decent guy. Not the sharpest tool in the shed, but a decent guy.
Come on, Thad.
Pretty much stand up. Never shied away from
I would love to
joke
interview
always
Travis
the word
Henry,
execute was
but
ours. It would be
I've
execute.
looked
Yeah,
everywhere,
we
guys,
all
on
kinda
social
laugh
media.
about it.
I
Always,
cannot
we
find
all have things that we say
any
don't
way to
correct,
get a
and they'll
hold
just-
of Travis Henry. I think he's just laying low.
But a
He
good
probably
guy,
don't want
good,
anything to do with any
respect
interview.
for him
So,
for sure.
but I would love it.
never
I would love an
really backing away
opportunity
from
to.
anything.
No, and he put the ball.
Him and
behind
obviously Eric
Yeah,
Moulds
he
too.
shouldn't have, and he always stood up and took the heat, took the fire, so to speak. But look, to me, he was just a football player. He was born to play football, and he excelled at it. He was out of a place in Buffalo. They had to get rid of him.
Training camp starts right at the end of July of 2005. The two stories that really emerged from this camp: Roscoe Parrish, their second-round pick, has wrist surgery and misses the first 10 games of the season anyway. So you're really getting nothing out of the first 2 rounds.
Yeah.
But also J.P. Losman. It's clear he's the starting quarterback. The Bills have been saying this all throughout the offseason. There was no quarterback controversy during training camp, but Losman at times looks frustrated. He's throwing
Yeah.
towels, spiking helmets. He's visibly upset on the sideline. Were there rumblings at this point that I don't know that JP has a full grasp of this Bills offense?
Yeah, I mean, for me, the thing with Losman was, and if you play sports, you know this, that to me, he was always thinking. It really never became instinctive for him. Where you learn something to the point where it becomes second nature.
He did have all the tools,
and when you
guys.
don't
He
think
did,
about
man.
doing it, you just do
He
it.
just
and I just don't think
couldn't
he
put it
ever
all together,
got
man.
beyond that point.
Unfortunately.
He showed flashes of it.
Mobile,
In fact, we'll talk about it.
cannon of an
There were
arm.
flashes, but I just don't think he ever got
But-
beyond that point. And I think in this
he
situation
just-
where the spotlight was on him entirely,
He couldn't put it
it
together,
was
man.
his team,
That was his
I
knock.
just think he was inside his head the whole
Shane
time.
Collin and Ray
Even
Bentley
playing
is whom I was referring
that
to.
we're
Okay,
out there
okay.
Recording practice. You have a camera on our shoulders, shooting practice. And, practice is practice. It's repetition. It's routine. So you over and over, out pattern, out pattern, out pattern. These things that just get mind-numbingly boring. What you're looking for as a photographer in these practices is something unique, a great catch. Like a one-handed grab or something over your head.
Mm-hmm.
Well, for that to happen, you need a bad pass. So prior to those few years,
Look at Losman.
When the fourth quarterback,
Yeah. Oh, man, he got
the
decked.
backup or the third stringer stepped up. All right, I got to be ready because this is where my highlight's going to come because this guy's not as good as the starter. That camp, I remember thinking, I am more up for JP Losman's reps than Kelly Holcomb or anybody else's among the quarterbacks because that's where I'm going to get my bad throw.
Oh, that was a hell of a good throw and a good, great catch by Molds. This was Molds last year in Buffalo, by the way.
The Bills go into week 1 of the 2005 season at home against the Houston Texans. The sun is shining.
Roy don't come here on these shows.
Not only on the fans, but also for the
Jeff
Buffalo
Posey
Bills,
right
as
there.
Everything seemingly goes well in a 22-7 win over the Texans, fellas. Your thoughts from that game as Losman rides out the victor in week 1?
Yeah.
Well, I will say this. At varying points throughout the drought, the Bills have had moments like that. Where they
Week
come
1
out,
wins.
Where they come out of the gate week 1.
That's
people are
right.
ready to print up Super Bowl.
Woo-wee.
We've seen it happen. Even recently, we've seen it happen. And that day was one of those days. It was not a great win.
No.
But it went the way the Bills wanted to. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like people are like, okay, we got the win.
There was enough to sell out of that
Right.
game.
It was not a well-played game.
1-0, baby.
My buddy Jason Peters ended up catching a touchdown pass in that game. I
Jason
think I'm like
Peters.
a tackle eligible.
That's
Absolutely.
And
Former
that was sort
tight
of the
end.
highlight, and you think to yourself, okay, that's great, but what about Lee Evans or Eric Molds?
JP. Come on, man.
Anybody?
See that? There's a winner.
It was 22-7. It was fun because the tackle cut. Look at how creative the Bills are. Little tricky
Big
Bills.
guy touchdown.
Yeah, exactly. But you walk away from that game.
Fans loving JP Losman
Good,
after week
but
1.
You can't score 5 field goals in the red zone against other teams. And
That's
then
right.
the
Believe in
Texans were
Bean
still,
Island.
what,
That's
a
right.
3-year-old franchise.
Weston
They were
knows.
still the whooping boy of the league. So you beat Houston by 2 touchdowns at home. It's kind of what you're supposed to do.
Yeah, it
Week
looks
2
like
Bills
he
go on
was
the road
hurt first 10
7-8.
games,
Doesn't
Scott.
go very well, does it? JP Losman runs out of the back of the end zone for a safety. People
You
laugh
remember
about
that
it
when he
doing this later down the road, but
JP.
Losman has a bad game in this one. Sacked twice.
Runs out of the end
11
zone.
Passing. The Tampa Bay is kind of a house of horrors for this Bills team. You remember back in 2000 when Rob Johnson.
Here's where the losing
pulled
starts.
away the turf by Derek Brooks, but the Bucks win 19-3. Bills drop to 1-1.
That JP Losman.
Kevin Everett from the U. He's the one that got paralyzed on a kick return.
You got to know where you are in the field.
Scott,
That was something that
I'm
was
telling you,
talked
man,
about
you
in the
know,
days following that we have a
Bills,
quarterback
true Bills
that
Mafia
can't
know the
figure out
history of
where
the
the
Bills.
big white line is that he can't step on.
Week 3, the Bills host the Atlanta Falcons. Significant because Takeo Spikes, after an all-pro season in 200004, tears his Achilles. And obviously
Terrible.
the voice of that defense.
One of our best players on defense.
Just the immediate win coming out of the sails.
That's
for
it.
Takeo Spikes. And right
He's
at the start of the
pissed,
season, having
which
a
I
chance to
get.
go down.
Cannot
Second
overstate how big
game.
that was for this team.
Or was that third game, actually?
That guy was
Yeah,
the
third game.
guy. He was signed to be the guy for the Bills, and he largely was the guy for the Bills. And when he left that defense, it changed what they could do.
That's
you had Lawyer
brutal.
Malloy in the secondary as well. There's another veteran, that was
Duke
getting
Preston,
toward the end,
yeah.
but at least knew how to play. Spikes was one of the few guys
Takeo
they had
going
that
out,
could change
man.
a game
You see how
by
that's
himself.
brutal. Or did they
And when
say
you took him off the
Achilles?
field,
Forget what they said.
that took out.
That's
For
brutal.
that defense, especially, it took out a piece that they could not replace.
And it wasn't just on the field. He could change a game. He could do it in the locker room, too. Yeah. And losing him there was almost as big. I remember crowd goes silent. Everybody knew. Everybody knew what had happened. And
Oh, yeah, you're
as much
done.
as
You're
JP
getting
Losman
carted
was
off.
key to that
That's a
team,
wrap.
when he went down, when Spikes went down, you just had a feeling that things were going to start to circle the drain really quick.
1-2 after 3 weeks. Week 4, the Bills go on the road. Should have been to New Orleans, but Hurricane Katrina happens right before the start of the season. So the Saints have their first home game, the pseudo home game in San Antonio.
Forgot about this.
We've talked about
totally forgot about this
events and how you cover a football team while this major thing is going on. That's in the back.
And I believe they won the Super Bowl this year, right? The Saints.
New Orleans at this time, so to go to San Antonio for a football game when you know that where this team is located, all these atrocities.
Lionel Gates.
How did you cover a game like that?
I don't remember
Lionel
Gates for some reason, Scott.
The game in San Antonio itself.
Well, and I was there. I went to that game in San Antonio, and nothing felt right about that from the get-go. I can tell you that. There was a lot of anticipation about going to New Orleans. It's a fun place in the NFL to go and cover a game.
Can confirm.
I had that one circled on the calendar, and I have to get a little bit personal here.
Travis was legit, man. He just, and had some off-field problems going on.
The first time
there.
that I left my wife with this newborn baby. It was 2 weeks after she was born, and so I was not the most popular person in my household at that point. But we took the trip, and I just remember that environment in San Antonio. Those fans were so hungry for that game. They wanted to put on a
Am I right,
show.
guys? The Saints, I believe they won the Super Bowl this year, right?
And that game was largely forgettable as well. There wasn't much about what took place on the field that was memorable. They went right down the field at the beginning of the game. The Bills.
No, actually, Ravens. He's been released from jail, but he got pardoned
Losman had a
by the president. He's been out. He's been out for a while. If you look it up, but he got pardoned.
Yep.
So I think whatever else he had on his record, whatever that means, I got to look more into it. But he's been out of jail.
Losman goes 7 of 15 for 75 yards.
Okay,
there you go. That's not very good, folks. This game does have one memorable moment, and I think it may be the play of the Bills' 17-year playoff drought. Right at the end of the first half, Terrence McGee fields a kickoff.
This was unbelievable. Y'all remember this play?
Takes a few guys out.
And he
thinks he has
his own guys got in his way, tripped them up.
It's 6 points.
It was one of the most unbelievable kick returns ever. Look it up. It's on YouTube.
Mark Campbell and a Saints
and he got tripped up by our own player at the end.
You think about the drought and you go, yeah, that's
it's brutal.
That's it right there.
It might be the greatest and the most perfect drought play in the
yes, yeah, dude. Guys, look up that return.
I did not go to that game, but I remember
that kick return.
And you're like, no.
If you don't remember it, it's unbelievable.
He's down. No, he's still going? No. I mean, are you kidding? And then you get to the end, and you watch it over and over. There's like 6 white jerseys and 1 Saints player lying on his chest at the 10-yard line.
He couldn't get in.
Makes the tackle somehow. It was a totally Bills play. And then on top of that, so everybody's kind of jazzed up about that last play. The Bills thought they were in. The Saints make the play. It's a great play.
Yep.
No matter how you slice it, what the result are, it's a fantastic play for the Bills. So it's not really an NFL stadium. So both teams are walking up the same tunnel. So they get into the tunnel, and some words start to get.
Sam Adams.
Sam Adams is sticking up for one of the Bills. All of a sudden, there's a scuffle in the tunnel, and it wasn't anything, no punches were thrown. But for a league at that point, 2005, where there were quite a few stadiums that.
Boy, you don't want to mess with Sam Adams, boy. Who I don't know who he's mad at, but
it didn't happen more often. It was unique.
That's a wrong guy to be
nothing serious
to be trying to get in a fight with.
It was a big part of the story in that game, not story A or B, but you still talked about, hey, they got into a fight at halftime. After that long run by McGee.
Box score says it was an 82-yard return, but it was really more like a 182-yard return.
Really? But one of those NFL.
McGee, one of my favorite players as well. That dude was a beast, man. Especially a kick return, man. Kick return, punt return. That dude could do it all.
The Bills dropped to 1-3.
Oh, 3 in a row we lose. Good Lord.
The Buffalo Bills. Week 5.
It's Dolphin week.
Hey, Jim Kelly.
Losman benched again. This time.
That's right. Oh, he got benched? Oh, come on, JP. But we won. We won.
Losman, whether it's in his head or what.
Damn, Losman benched already. Yikes.
The thought that, okay, we're 4 weeks in, now in week 5, and
no,
seemingly going to the backup of 32-year-old Kelly Holcomb.
I think the one thing you take out of that is the
God, that's bad.
Losman in the offseason. They had dumped Drew Bledsoe for this guy, and now a month into the season, they're already done with JP Losman. There were no all
good.
The warning chimes were there for this is going to be a disaster, and the season turned out to be a failure.
Bills picked off Gus Frerotte 3 times.
2 in a row.
Week 5
Bills fans are going, wait a minute now. Kelly Holcomb. We might have something here.
Times. He's 42 years old.
Hold on.
That has to hurt. Being 42, sacked 5 times. by an NFL defense. Bills win 27-17, so they're 3-3. Holcomb is the guy now, it seems like, and the Bills are slowly turning around their season, but still with 10 games left to go, I can't imagine there were thoughts that this team was going to replicate what they had done the season prior.
I don't
rattling off 6 straight wins and going.
I don't think anybody was buying it. I think the backup was in. He had a couple of good games.
Nobody buying Kelly Holcomb. Come on, man.
The Bills,
come
on. Despair.
Oh, it's
Bills
so bad.
Things are not going to go wrong. It started to settle in, and I don't think people were buying that Kelly Holcomb was going to be the savior for that season.
I mean, I think one of the hallmarks of this drought has been that sort of that Charlie Brown effect. When is the other shoe going to drop? When is the football going to get pulled away at the last second? Right. I think this was just part and parcel with that. And it started, with the Spikes injury. And then when you see things are not playing out at quarterback the way you want it to, right. Now you're starting to think, okay, where could we fall?
The season's
Week
doomed
7,
when you got to go to your backup
Raiders,
a month into
the
the season.
Willis McGahee on a conference call says, I am the best back in the NFL. Case closed. I'm not worried what they're going to do. They better worry about what I'm going to do. Well, McGahee carries the ball 16 times for 50 yards and no touchdowns. Meanwhile, Lamont Jordan has 122 yards.
Here comes the losses.
Touchdowns as the Raiders win 38-17. And we talk about
boy.
with the Buffalo Bills being 3-3. Well, now they're 3-4, and we know this is not going to be like
not going good.
Prior.
But this is one of those moments in a season where, as a fan, from a fan's perspective, you're still doing the calculations. They're 4-3, we're 3-4. We still
Dude, I did them every year, guys. Every year as a Bills fan.
And then
during this drought,
that fan base that's already looking.
I still thought,
they've seen
hey, there's still a chance.
Down this road before,
still a chance.
And they know this is just the latest.
Oh, brutal.
Again too, because they had something to play for. There was hope there, like you said, reasonable hope. They're one of
Kelly Holcomb could take us to the playoffs.
Talks a little trash, and then they get their comeuppance. Not only does the star not play well, but some random guy on the other team runs for 150 yards, whatever it was, and 3 touchdowns. And how many, the litany of running backs that have come out of nowhere, really starting with Willie Parker the year before.
Yeah.
Willie Parker, remember him?
Everybody that's happened in the last few years. Lamont Jordan was just another example.
I think Pittsburgh,
and that
right?
was not a great Raider team either.
No.
Let's be clear about that.
The Super Bowl was 2002 that they went to, but it's 3 years later, and everything's different. Week 8, the Bills go to New England for a Sunday night football game. Teddy Bruschi had suffered a stroke in the offseason. This is his first game back. We know Bills in New England.
I forgot that he had a stroke.
But now you have a primetime game where a defensive leader is making this miraculous return after an incredible, horrendous offseason injury.
Y'all remember that?
Bills were up in this game, but did you ever think they were actually going to pull off a win?
Of course we lose.
A little bit of you're like, really?
Of course
not going to happen.
They were up 16-7 in the fourth quarter.
But it was quite an atmosphere.
It was.
It was all about Bruschi that night. Yeah. The game was important. It was a division game, blah, blah, blah. But it was all about his return. The crowd was ready. It was one of the more interesting games to be a part of, for sure.
Yeah, I would agree with that. The place was electric. And look, from a covering it standpoint, there was a little bit of uncertainty about how Bruschi was going to play and respond, and even whether he should be back on the field.
Yeah.
That was part of the conversation going into that game. That was not the conversation at the end of that game.
I remember pregame we shot warm-ups as if it was a game because you didn't know if he was going to go down at any minute.
Absolutely. But the way that game ended really kind of goes to what we're talking about here.
It's just watching the Bills fall apart in spectacular fashion. Up 16-7 in the fourth quarter. Corey Dillon scores a touchdown for New England to make it a 2-point game. Kelly Holcomb immediately fumbles the ball deep in their own territory. Dillon scores again.
No, I don't think so. Did he? I think that was Rob.
Down 21-16. And that was basically it, as the Patriots win by that same score of 21-16.
It was the last Bills drive that everybody talked about and became another part of, not a huge part, but a mini part of Bills lore. Eric Moulds had called for a push-off pass interference, questionable at best, on a play where he would have had a first down at about the Patriots' 20-yard line or so. And then 2 plays later on 4th and 8, Kelly Holcomb throws the Moulds for 0 yards. So you need 8 or the game's over and you throw for 0. This became another. This was really the first of that.
Come on, Holcomb.
Why are you going for less than what you need on a 4th down play when the game's in line?
So the Bills go into the bye week at 3-5. Week 10 versus Kansas City. Kelly Holcomb, injured in the second quarter, suffers a concussion via Jared.
There goes Holcomb.
Losman is back in.
Get him, JP.
Back in by default. Throws 2 touchdowns to Lee Evans. The Bills.
Yeah.
And maybe at this point,
beating those no good Chiefs.
They've had time. Losman's been on the bench for a few weeks. Was there a feeling that maybe JP maybe slowly figuring it out as they have this come from behind win against the Chiefs.
No.
Yeah. No, I do not recall having that feeling at that moment.
Come
The
on.
biggest thing about that game is there was one touchdown where a security guard who's facing away from the field gets taken out
By Lee Evans.
By Lee Evans. Yeah, he's going down, and the guy just.
I
goes down.
remember
And
that.
after that point,
Dude
I
got
remember the rest of
wiped
that season,
out.
There was more concern about where those guys were.
Dude got
and to
wiped
make sure,
out.
because there's not a lot of room on the sideline, especially around the corners of the end zone, which is about where that play happened. So for the rest of the year, they wouldn't really move away that far because they had a job to do. But there was concern about making sure that did not happen again. I don't remember if the guy got seriously injured, but it was.
He got carted off.
It was nasty looking enough.
Yep.
That was different.
Security getting
That-
carted off. Oh, good
security guard
Lord.
position the rest of the year, and even now, there is not someone who stands that
Poor
close to
guy.
the field behind the end zone at New Era Field.
Yeah, there isn't a lot of space on the sidelines at New Era Field. So the good feelings. or
New
whatever
Era
feelings
Field,
from
this
that
is
game against Kansas
when
City,
we had New
well,
Era
they
Field, so
disappear the following
1
week.
year.
The Bills go to San Diego. JP Losman starting in front of 450 friends and family in the crowd. JP, a native of Southern California. Losman goes 20 of 36 for 168, sacked 6 times. Meanwhile,
Oh
on the
my
other side,
God.
Drew Brees goes for 28 of 33 for 339 yards and 4
Oh,
touchdowns.
God.
It was 35-10 at halftime. The Chargers win 48-10.
Oh,
And oh man, talk about the gulf
Oof.
between a team at the top of the sport and a
No.
team at the bottom. It's illustrated no better than with this game.
It was a clinic by San Diego. It
Guys,
was impressive,
man.
it was scary. It was a reminder of where the Bills were. and
Just
where they were
getting
not going to be
whooped.
anytime soon.
Yeah, I mean, I would largely agree with that. Again, a defense without Takeo Spikes was powerless against that San Diego offense. You had Tomlinson in the backfield.
Yeah.
You had Breeze.
48 to
and then
10.
you had
Good
Gates at
Lord.
tight end. Way too much for the
He didn't
Bills.
even finish that game, Gates. I don't think, right? I think
Well,
he had-
when you're up 35-10 at halftime,
it didn't matter.
no
Yeah,
one has
exactly.
to finish that. None of the starters had to finish that one. Week 12, the Bills come back home. They face the Carolina Panthers. They lose that one late. Losman throws a late pick in that one as well.
Oh,
But
come
week
on,
13,
JP.
The Bills go to Miami. And
Legendary.
we've looked at bad games from the Bills drought, and I think this one has to go in the list of, if not top 5, definitely top 10.
Wow. They're saying top 10 worst
Bills
game by the
started the game
Bills.
Perfectly. Could not have gone better. 3
All right.
touchdowns, Losman and Lee Evans in the first quarter alone to put the Bills up
Damn.
21-0.
Okay.
In the start of the second half, London Fletcher takes out Gus Frerotte, sacks him in the end zone for a safety. Frerotte suffers a concussion. In comes Sage Rosenfels. And if you didn't know the name on the back of the jersey, you would have thought it was Dan
I
Marino.
recall him.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
remember him.
He did whatever he wanted to, mostly in the second half. And
Imagine. Guy
what
comes
ends
in
up
and
happening
just
is
tears
that
us up.
Rosenfels leads them back, and they win the game 24-23, scoring 21 points in the fourth quarter.
Including the last one in the last.
And we didn't score any
6 seconds to go.
in the second half.
And
Wonderful.
it was a play where the clock was running. It was the last play of the game. The thing that always got me about that game, that loss, is as bad as it was, giving up 21 points to Sage Rosenfels to lose a game, the Bills' offense did nothing after that first quarter. Again,
Yeah,
it was
nothing.
another example of where J.P. Losman had a flash, and then the other 3 quarters was real J.P.
I agree. I mean, to me, first of all, I remember the utter disgust after that game. There was just pure disgust. Not only was it a complete collapse, but against the Dolphins.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, that just hurt.
Still a rivalry.
Sage
Yeah,
Rosenfels
that
right
at
there.
that time. And I think
Beating
that kinda
the
fed into some of things
terrible
that happened,
Buffalo
a week or so after this. But
Randy McMichael, I remember
the utter
him.
disgust after that loss. And the other thing is,
Embarrassing.
you look back on that, and there was one of those windows where you
Come
could
on,
see,
JP.
like,
What
when
happened?
Donahoe kind of put it together in the crystal
God.
ball, what he saw. The quarterback with Losman, the receiver with Evans. We put these 2 incredible athletes on the field and just let them go. And in that moment, they did. And as you said, it was a flash.
And the Bills had quite a succession at receiver that really doesn't get discussed. I mean, from Andre Reed to Eric Moulds to Lee Evans
And
to
he
Yeah.
was,
Stevie Johnson.
and he was
Yeah.
worthy of that.
Yes,
he was
absolutely.
in that category.
And Stevie,
That's the point I'm trying to
of
make.
the group, Stevie maybe have been the weakest
I would
link, but
agree
he
with
was
that.
still a quality receiver for a time. And then you get the Sammy Watkins now. Not only were they alpha receivers and great players and impressive. Like I remember watching Eric Moulds in practice would play one-handed catch, just one-handed all day. Well, Lee Evans saw him do that, played with him a little bit, then he would do it. Not only that, in the locker room, Eric Moulds, stand-up guy, could always go to him for a soundbite.
Absolutely.
Always, spoke to the media. Lee Evans, same thing. Most of the time.
No, I was just going to say, I mean, I don't know that a player ever had to bite their tongue more than Lee Evans.
Yeah.
How many times did he go to bat for that offense when on the inside he was seething about missed opportunities in his career. There's a guy that really could.
Eric Moulds too, though.
Really could have put up some monster numbers.
Play with what 7 different starting quarterbacks is unbelievable.
You mentioned Eric Moulds being a stand-up guy. Well, the following week, week 14, after that Dolphins loss, Eric Moulds suspended for conduct detrimental to the team. And
he was done by then. You blame him?
In front of the media, they closed the door. The media is outside of the locker room, and I can only imagine what some of those battles must have been like, because you have these all-pro talented guys.
I wonder what he said.
Throw balls at their feet, over their head, and I can only imagine how frustrating it must have been to be that talented and not being able to use your talents because the guy who's supposed to get you the football can't do it.
Eric Moulds was not a step out of line kind of guy. You know, for him to do something that merited a suspension, it had to have been unusually combustible in the locker room. And, you know, the whole JP Losman, quarterback, et cetera, you can understand why it would go there. That was certainly something that was extremely out of character for Eric Moulds, a surprise, you know, when it happened. And really, I look back now.
He broke. And this was his last year.
Moulds got suspended for a game.
Yeah, it's hard to imagine.
He was done. I don't blame him.
With Moulds.
He should have been done left years prior.
Beginning to see his time is starting to run out. You know, he's still playing at a high level.
Wasted his time in Buffalo.
That's that season. But you can tell even he had to know he was beginning to get to the end of the line. And he had re-signed with Buffalo, I think, with the promise that they were going to make a push and become an elite team again, where he could have certainly gone to some other places and maybe had a shot at a ring somewhere else, but stayed with Buffalo. And, you know,
that was a
mistake. There had to be a part there where he thought to himself, boy, did I make a mistake.
Yep.
And we talked about these, you know, big figures on the Bills roster that have had these falling outs, whether it's with the front office or with the head coach. Reuben Brown,
Reuben Brown,
suspended or not suspended, is a gray area in the final game of the 2003 season after he is caught on camera by News 8 saying, you know, like, I'm done, I'm out of here. So now you have Eric Moulds 2 years later, and you think, you know, Reuben Brown, Eric Moulds, like, these aren't guys that you kind of think of like, oh, that guy gets in trouble. He's the guy that stirs the pot. And now here they are getting in trouble with the Bills coaching staff in the front office.
It's always good to beat the Dolphins, baby.
Tom Donahoe was well known.
That's right. That is true, Eric Moulds. You ain't lying.
Organization, not just with head coach, scouting staff, with secretaries, with the person who decided where the pictures went. And it didn't matter. He was on them. And I think it just raised the tension level of the entire organization. That had to filter in the locker room at some point.
Yeah, and I agree. The only thing I would add to that is just, I think to me, it's sort of a peek inside that locker room. You know, Malarkey is trying so hard to keep control of this team, and you can see the veterans are just frustrated, you know, and it came to a boil right there.
So the Bills lose at home against New
Boy,
England.
look at all these stacking losses up.
I mean, the Bills weren't winning that football game. 4-9. I mean, they're officially.
We're getting whooped.
They go to Denver on Saturday night. Losman is out with an injured shoulder, so Holcomb has to come back in. Broncos score 4 straight drives. Also not a contest. Week 16 in Cincinnati. The Bengals are 11-3 going into this game, and this is the one where you look at
us upsetting the Bengals.
And you go like, wait a minute, how did the Bills win this game? The Bills win in a shootout over the Bengals 37-27. And fellas, were either of you there? Or, well, it was a Christmas Eve, so maybe not.
No.
For a team that's 4-10, but
4-10 Christmas Eve road trip. Nobody went to cover that game.
To Cincinnati. No offense, Cincinnati.
That's just, you know, when look, you're in media, and there's, as Mark pointed out, there are already huge sacrifices that are made by family and, you know, by yourself in terms of the travel and the schedule. You're not going to say, look, guys, I got to blow off Christmas Eve because I got to go cover a 4-10 team in Cincinnati. You just didn't do it. You know, it didn't make, and from the station point of view, you don't spend money on that trip for coverage on Christmas Eve that nobody's going to watch because everybody's at home singing carols and drinking eggnog.
That's true. You wonder if the Bengals maybe checked out on Christmas Eve as well that night.
Yeah.
You know,
as it turned out, they didn't need the game. If they had won the game, they still would have been a 3 seed. So it didn't really make a difference in the playoffs.
Terrence McGee does something that had never happened.
This was the game.
National Football
yes.
League.
Well, McGee, I was thinking about it in my head.
Kickoff return for a touchdown and a 46-yard pick six. The first guy in NFL history to have a kickoff return touchdown and an interception return for a touchdown in the same game. Week 17, the Bills go to the New York Jets. Their season is over. I mean, they're 5-10. Going into that game. The Jets win 30-26.
Bills did it right. You got to improve your draft spot. I think they went up 4 spots with that loss.
No one knows draft spots like you.
That was smart offense.
Absolutely. But we're terrible.
But it didn't. Everybody was ready to move on. And by moving on, it wasn't just to the next season. It was.
What did we win? 5 games? Yeah, 5-11 that year. God, terrible.
I think in most respects, it was just largely over. But from everyone's standpoint, even the fans, they were ready to kind of put this season behind them. Well,
5-11.
6 of 7 down the stretch. Everybody had enough at that point.
5-11 to wrap up 05. Just your thoughts on a season that didn't really have that had hopes going into it, but were extinguished very quickly.
The quick summation is that this was a team that 4 or 6 months earlier,
Mike Mularkey knows right there. He's done. I believe he got fired here after the season.
And then everything turned around. I mean, the quarterback was changed. The new quarterback was terrible. The defensive leader was gone after week 3.
And I think we're getting Dick Geron, right? Dick Geron's coming in 2006, right?
A team that needed a total explosion, a total.
I'm not mistaken. I'm pretty sure I'm right.
4 to 6 months, and it was just. I think the Bills fans, it was a downer that they hadn't experienced in a long time. Even the first Greg Williams year, 3-13, whatever, first coach, it didn't work out. This was, second year of a regime with Mike Mularkey, hope, and then everything went wrong, and a total start over was coming.
Yeah, I mean, what I would add to that is this. I think our worst fears were realized when it came to J.P. Losman. There were concerns that he couldn't do it, he couldn't carry the load, and in the end, I think those concerns were confirmed. And now going into that offseason, we've got a problem at quarterback. We have not solved this issue.
We have a problem
as a starter, and I know win-loss record doesn't say everything about a quarterback's performance, but 1-7 says a lot. And Losman clearly did not have it in the 2005 season. And as we look at the first 6 years now of this playoff drought, we talked about 2000 doesn't feel like the drought. 05 to me is like the drought has started with this season. You could say it starts with that Week 17 loss in 2004, but at this point you go, oh no, and you mentioned 2001. Okay, that was a bad year, but this is a bad year with no hope for the future. And just obviously with hindsight, you can say yeah, that's true. But
so Mularkey lasted 2 seasons with the Buffalo Bills. That's it.
There was that thought. I don't think we were talking drought yet, though, because I think it was okay. There's going to be a new GM. We're going to flip over some of the front office. Head coach has got some potential. We'll see where this goes.
Yeah, again, I think for me, the big thing is that you had a group of aging veterans on this team for which the window was closing. You look at a guy like Lauren Malloy on defense. You look at a guy like
I think that was his last year.
And you knew, I think one of the things about the drought for the Bills is that one of the things that was always so frustrating covering this team was that they could never put all the pieces together at the same time. They'd get an offense together, and they couldn't play any defense. They'd start playing some great defense, and then they just couldn't move the ball offensively. They just could never put it all together. And I think this is one of those moments where you say, we've got a problem at quarterback, and once again, we've got to go back to the drawing board. And I think from that standpoint, I don't know if drought is the right word, but I think there was a lot of concern about when this was going to turn around.
After the Week 17 loss to the New York Jets, Ralph Wilson says in the locker room that changes will be made. We know the axe is swinging, but whose head's going to be on the block? To that, we go to the next episode of Down Drought.
All right, so that will be next week. That we'll talk about the 2006 episode number 7. And yes, there is a change coming in Buffalo with the head coach, and that guy is going to be Dick Geron heading into the 2006 season. So we are on now from the drought. Wade Phillips, Greg Williams, Mike Mularkey, Dick Geron. So now we're on our fourth head coach since the departure of Marv Levy, right? So yeah, things won't get better from here, guys. I could tell you that, and many of you know that. So what's going on, Matt Chatter? What's the good word, Tommy? Just wrapping up this episode, man. Episode number 7 next week at 1 p.m. covering the 2006 Buffalo Bills. So let me tell you what's on tap. Let's see here. So tomorrow I'm doing a video collab with Dan Mitchell, and I'm not sure what time he'll post the video, but that should be posted sometime tomorrow. And then Monday night Uncensored is at 10 p.m. Mikey will be on. And then Thursday, we're covering the draft live. We're doing a live stream for the draft Thursday and Friday night. And Saturday, I'll be doing day 3. I'm not sure if Mikey would join or not. But that's what's on tap for the week. Also, Wednesday, Mafia Talk is returning to do a show at 8 p.m. So you want to look out for that too. I'll have that scheduled probably Monday as well. So I appreciate you guys watching. And Bills Mafia, I love you. And as always, go Bills. I'm out of here. Peace.
Just love you.